the 16th of June a day to celebrate or commemorate? Are the fallen 1976 heroes given the respect and honor they deserve? What lessons can the troubled youth of today learn from the youth of yesteryear? Will the born frees ever truly appreciate the significance of the 1976 Soweto uprisings? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. 2014 marks the 38th anniversary of the historic Soweto student uprising of 16 June 1976. Although the uprising started as a student protest against Afrikaans as a medium of instruction, it has profoundly influenced the course of the liberation struggle against apartheid in South Africa. June 16 is now annually celebrated as Youth Day in the honor of the youth of 1976, who in their own way contributed to the freedom that was finally attained by South Africa in 1994. The youth of 1976 have since matured into trailblazing citizens from whom the youth of today can learn invaluable lessons. My guest in studio today is Gordon, otherwise known as Trofomo Sono. And joining us from our Sea Point studios is Baby Tyawa, also a 1976 June 16 veteran. Now, that is on. Welcome to the show, and Ms. Tyawa, they also welcome to the show. Let me start by checking with you.
Thank you.
Who are you in the 1976 struggle?
I am just a patriot. One of the activists participated in the struggle. That time, there was a need. Everybody's ear was, our ears were standing up like antennas. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, it looked like it was just a struggle, on Afrikaans. But it was far deeper than that, because you will remember during those days, Nehutuma di Frelimo rallies and so on.
Yes.
And we were struggling.
Okay. But now, in terms of leadership, who are you there?
I am the guy that was elected after Denmon Tsisi, who was the third president of the SSRC, was arrested.
Okay, so the first one was Tsietsi, and then succeeded by Khotso.
And
the third one was Denmon Tsisi. And then you were the fourth.
I was the fourth.
Okay. Now, let's go to Cape Town and just bring on here Mayor Baby Tyawa. Who are you in the June 16 struggle?
Thank you for the invitation. I'm a young Standard 9, that's grade 9. What do they call it now? Grade 11.
Grade 11, yes. Student
at the Morris Isaacson High.
Okay.
I am interested in pursuing my studies. Mm-hmm. I noticed that there's a meeting in the school premises, and that meeting is about the fact that Afrikaans is going to be introduced as a medium of instruction throughout all our subjects. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, if I have to do what was called physical science then, and mathematics, surely there is going to be a problem. And I'm attending this meeting addressed by Tsietsi Mashinini in the school hall. And I also remember Mefi Morobe there, and planning that there has to be some form of an insurrection against the language of Afrikaans.
Yeah.
Indeed, there had been conversations by the responsible authorities, both Black Africans and the Afrikaner apartheid regime then, to say that if this is not addressed, there might be some outbreak, a complete outbreak of a big strike in Soweto.
Yes.
So this is me then, a young girl, I can say, mature, a student, high school girl, who joins in this what would have been a strike. And I think Drofoma is correct. I don't think we thought that it would really have such ripple effect and change the course of South Africa then.
Okay, but you were, like you're saying, just a girl. What motivated you? I suppose, I mean, like Tate Sono here is saying, I mean, the leaders of the Soweto Student Representative Council then had all been males. I do not know whether perhaps Bongile motivated you?
I wasn't in the executive of the SSRC, but I was one of the female students there, obviously playing a lead role.
Okay.
We were motivated by the purpose of indeed liberating ourselves from this oppressive language. We obviously, I personally, I must also say that I had very good teachers. I remember one of my social studies teacher talking about Onkgopotsetiro and telling us about the Frelimo rally.
Yes.
And I remember that I think a year or two before or after, oh yes, there had been a Frelimo rally. So I had read and heard about SASA, heard about the Frelimo rally, heard about Onkgopotse, and I had a teacher who told us about the struggle of South Africa, and she said something that I always remember, that lefatshe something like that.
All right.
So we were listening to some of those leaders then.
All right. Now,
or being influenced by them.
The SSRC, Dr. Son, what role did you play? I mean, Soweto had so many high schools, you know. How did it happen that you have one SRC structure?
Yeah, it's because, you know, it was a necessity. It's because the students were organized, like my lady says there. It was one meeting in that school there. Nobody in that meeting ever thought that this will be a prairie fire that will spread. And so it is Morris Isaacson, I was in Madibani. And those places are far apart.
Yes.
And then once the SSRC was formed, then I like those guys. I honor them even today. Tsietsi, Khotso, then Liboseth Zibugo in the background.
Yes.
You know, they were there. There were so many people there. Okay. But those guys thought, if we are to be a power to reckon with, it is best if each and every school brings up a representative in the council.
Okay.
So that every student can say, I am also part of it.
All right. I want us to take a quick break. When we return, let's look at how this march, a peaceful march, turned violent. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. Please don't go away. We'll return shortly.
.99% Zulu has returned to the Lyric Theatre in Gold Reef City in Johannesburg this weekend.
This guy doesn't know how to throw the Mateba jive.
Sarah Dupree is bringing his celebrity impersonations to Johannesburg. Audiences will be treated to nights of glitz and glamour and Cher, Lady Gaga, Tina Turner and more impersonations.
That's Afro Showbiz News, Saturdays 7:30 p.m. on SABC News.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guests today is Trofomo Sono and Baby Chawa, veterans of the June 16 struggle. Now, how did this peaceful march turn violent? And I'll give you one of my understanding. A journalist went to Protea police station to inquire or to get a comment from the police. What are you saying now that the kids are marching? And the police actually did not even know that you were marching.
And they were fed up because it looks like the intelligence system never worked. But on coming to the scenes, you know, they acted stupid, I must say, because it's a question of an IQ. I'll give you an example. If a car is standing, does a dog bark at it? No. But if the car starts moving, the dog starts barking. But if you are a person and you are passing, the dog is in a yard, if the dog starts barking, you ignore. It's fine. But they acted stupid. It was peaceful. They started firing tear gas, and that ignited the fury of the students.
Okay. Now, Metal, perhaps I need to get this from you. Didn't you, as students, provoke the police?
We did not. This was a peaceful march. And we got to our schools quite early. I can talk about Morris Isaacson, where I was at. Indeed, there wasn't, I think the police, much as they would have heard that something would happen, I don't think they heard anything. It was extremely peaceful. The night before, we prepared our placards. We went to school like is normal, went to assembly and prayed. And then we marched, instead of into our classes, we marched out of our gate, school gate, and we started walking. And indeed, we got a lot of schools coming in, Naledi High, Skanuntwana, converging. There was no provocation of the police. One would imagine because they saw the droves and numbers of young people in the streets, they got into a complete panic attack and almost like had nothing else to do. Because I, for instance, marched with a lot of students up to Pefeni Station. Before we reached where the Hector Peterson Memorial is, we were told that there had been shots, and those shots actually killed one of the younger people. I do remember around Pefeni Station, they were trying to disperse us, and the police just said, we give you 5 minutes in Afrikaans to disperse. But we were millions. There was just a big, large number of young people, students. We couldn't have dispersed in 5 minutes. Obviously, if you do that and give that instruction, you call him for pandemonium.
Yeah.
And that's what followed.
Okay.
So unexpected, shocked, and also like extremely surprised that there can be such a groundswell of just what they thought was a language for teaching.
Okay. Now, you were doing what your parents were failing to do. How did you feel?
You know, everybody became patriotic from nowhere. And it was like, this is what we were supposed to die for. Because let me tell you what aggravated the whole situation. You see, we were scared of failing. Remember, we were at school and we are taught in Afrikaans. Accountancy in English is a difficult subject. Now, if you change accountancy into rekening-kende,
That was worse.
this is even more than a nightmare. Because before I understand what the context of accounting is, I must first understand what rekening-kende means. So we are scared of failing. We don't want to fail. We just want to pass. But to pass, we don't want to be pushed. We want to study. We want to learn.
Okay. I have a suspicion here, Ms. Chawa, that although Tsietsi was the first leader of the SSRC, somehow there was a lot of politics involved. This wasn't just about Africans.
I suspect the uprisings obviously didn't happen in a vacuum. Okay. The country, South Africa, had struggles before, different phases of young people. There were band liberation movements. There was, like I was saying, the SASO, which was a South African Students' Organization, which was a university-focused organization. Indeed, one of the things that I can share is that even before the SSRC, there was an organization called SASM, which was an organization of students who had been in the middle of matric and university, were exposed to underground struggles. But it wasn't like politics. It was the struggle. It was a phase in a struggle to liberate a country from apartheid. That I got to know later on. So at that point in time, all I was dealing with was Africans.
All right. Now, do you think the fallen heroes of 1976 are receiving the respect and honor they deserve?
You know, I'm too skeptic about it. I don't think we are giving the respect enough, because we say this day should be celebrated. We call it a youth day.
Yes.
It is celebrated. And you know what celebration means?
Yeah.
Celebration means getting some few gardens there, booze. We smoke, we drink, we get drunk. And meanwhile, there is somebody whose blood was flowing in the streets during that time. Would it be fair if we would say, let us celebrate Sharpeville massacre?
Are you asking me the question?
I'm asking you.
No. On this show, I'm the one who asked the question.
I'm asking a rhetoric question.
Okay, that's fine.
It is a question that
all right.
I also must answer.
Okay, hold that thought there. I want the answer only after the break. This is question time. Please don't go away.
Catch all 64 games of the FIFA World Cup live from 12 June to 13 July on SABC TV and our 19 radio stations. SABC, the official broadcaster of the 2014 FIFA World Cup Brazil.
Platinum producer Lonman says it may be forced to restructure its Rustenburg operations. That's if its employees fail to accept the company's latest wage offer and return to work.
We are concerned about things like strike action that become disruptive and lead to job losses.
NUMSA members downed tools demanding better working conditions.
NUMSA have called upon other members to embark on secondary strike.
Your World, weekdays between 11 and 12 midnight.
Across the globe, the continent, and the entire country, every second there's always a breaking story. SABC News is your reliable eye, ear, and information system in bringing you events as they happen. Our cutting-edge and hard-hitting journalism leaves no stone unturned, giving you the whole picture every time. Join us every day on SABC2 and know what is happening around you. SABC News, Africa's news leader.
Trofomo Sono and Baby Tawa are my guests today, and we're talking June 16. This is question time. You're watching. Now, you had a question.
I say it's not fair to celebrate Sharpeville massacres, because if we celebrate it, this whole thing has a tendency of, making the mindset to forget what really transpired. This is how we gradually get to forget our history. And this is why today we call our children the lost generation, because we perpetually lead them to forgetting the essence of our history.
Okay.
And we cause them to forget it, and after they've forgotten it, we come with terms. We name them the lost generation. It's not fair.
Okay. Metiawa, commemoration or celebration? I'm trying to get us to connect with our Cape Town guest, Baby Tawa, that is. If you can hear me, I'm saying, do we commemorate or do we celebrate June 16?
My sense is that both are concepts that describe how you want to think about your history. I think what Trofomo is saying is, what then do we do when we celebrate? Or what then do we do when we commemorate? To me, there's a convergence. Part of the convergence comes from the fact that on that Wednesday morning, there was a celebratory mood. And us as the young people then felt like, ooh, we're moving boundaries, we're pushing against the tyranny of apartheid. And as a sequel to that, there were deaths. Indeed, people lost their lives. We're happy and we're excited that some of us survived up to this time. So there's two elements to it. I think where I agree is that maybe us as the generation of that time should think about how do we profile it. The fact that the Constitution have declared it as a public holiday, to me, it does actually say it's recognized, it's fully recognized, but maybe we should ask ourselves as a generation, ourselves and Trofomo and the like, what is it that we're doing, at least at our schools where we started the march, to ensure that we liven up the history, we sustain the importance of this day. And I'm not undermining the efforts that individually people are doing to celebrate or commemorate. It is really about what do we do, what type of messages do we want to bring across, and how do we influence those as the generation, as the veterans of 1976. Okay. But we must also celebrate. We do have a constitution that expresses that all children in this country have the right to education. All right. And also we're arguing for mother tongue.
I can see you nodding here. Perhaps the question that one needs to ask you is, how would you like the day to be observed?
Baby is right. Baby is right. How do we celebrate? Mm-hmm. And how do we commemorate? Do we have political rallies where we tell our kids, guys, this is the struggle, and this is how, in the near future, we should protest, or this is how we should not protest, and this is how we should learn from the things that were done in the past? I think, Baba, there are two agendas here. Mm-hmm. Let us tell the truth, just for a change.
Not for a change. The truth must be told all the time.
Yeah. I think there are two agendas here. One agenda is, if you let these kids stick to the mindset of protest, they will vulgarize the country in the future. And it won't be good because we are now in power. I will support my statement there.
Okay.
How do I support it? It's because I'm scared. I'm seeing our communities saying, Ebo, we don't have toilets. Harna metsi. And then already you bring a police force. And they shoot, they don't play. And this is how the man called Tatana died. It's not nice. Because such things, we did see them. And then when the boys were doing them that time, we were saying the boys are doing it because Tina is on setu. Now, if it is done by my brother, what is Isono Sami Manch? You see?
But hold that thought there. I want to get from Ms. Jawa your message to young people of today.
My message is not so difficult. It is that those were the struggles of the past. It is the struggles that they must cherish. They must protect and defend the freedoms of the Constitution. Most important is our ability to balance the struggle and education. And let us focus on ensuring that the students, the learners of today, those who are at school must pursue the struggle for education, the struggle for skills, and also use rightful methods to express their dislike and learn a lot about what the Constitution allows you to do. I'm not saying they should be dormant. I'm just saying that in so doing, they should take advantage of the privileges and the rights that they have and learn about those rights whilst raising their views, strongly so, without losing respect or showing disrespect. And I must hasten to say that I don't think there is a lost generation. I think there's a generation of young people who are faced with bigger or maybe different struggles of drugs, of thuggery. Indeed, some are faced with poverty. Trofoma is correct. Poverty, some are dispossessed because of the impact of possibly HIV/AIDS. And they are facing very, very different struggles, but they are struggles. But I'm saying that use the Constitution and use yourselves to change your conditions because there are a lot of opportunities. What we should do as veterans is to sustain the thinking process and inject
Let
the
me
past
thank
history.
you there. We've run out of time completely. That is on. Let me thank you very much as well, and Baby Chawa from our Cape Town studios.
Thank
that
you
was
very
question
much for
time for
inviting
today. Our email address, if you want to get in touch with us, questiontime@sabc.co.za. Our Twitter handle @questiontime24. From me and the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.